Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Here we are. We're going to practice a Memorial Day warrior sequence for our class. So what you'll need is probably one block and your strap if you have it. Again, if you don't have your strap with you, you can always use a belt or a towel, t-shirt, whatever you have handy. So make sure that you have those props to begin. And then to start class today, we're actually going to start on our bellies. So I will show you what I'd like to have happen, and then I'm going to come back up to a seated position so that way you can hear my voice clearly enough. All right, so when we come onto our bellies, what we're going to do is we're going to overlap our arms, grabbing for elbow and wrist, or overlap the one forearm on top. And then I want you to rest your forehead or your third eye onto your hands. So once you get into that position, that's called crocodile. And we're going to practice crocodile breathing. So while you're lying on your belly with your forehead resting comfortably on your forearms or overlapping wrists, as you inhale, your belly presses into the ground. It's almost impossible in this pose not to use your diaphragm, which is what we want to begin class by targeting, bringing that breath a little bit deeper. So as you come into crocodile pose and begin your crocodile breathing, taking a couple big inhales and exhales here, you might feel those boundaries and physical restrictions as we're on our belly. And just do your best to breathe through them, to breathe as deeply as you can, maybe taking a couple open mouth exhales out, releasing anything that is still wandering throughout our body and our mind before we settle into our groove of class. And as you settle here in crocodile pose, begin to notice those qualities of your breath. So right now we kind of funnel all of our thoughts into just the breath. And to help us do so, we can count the pace of our breath, making sure the inhales equal our exhales. We can observe the depth of our breath, noticing if we feel the belly push away with each inhale and the body relax with each exhale. We can take note of the temperature of our breath, the texture of our breath, the pace, the pathway. Lots of focus we can bring into each of those little elements of our breath. As you continue to observe your breath, see if you can bring that breath a little bit deeper each time. Inhaling fully, working to bring that breath deep into the body, retaining it for a moment, and then a slow, steady exhale out. As you continue to settle here with your breath, let's begin a full body scan. So starting at the crown of the head and slowly working our way down to the soles of our feet. Take some time to discover how the body's feeling as you come onto your mat. Take note of any areas of discomfort, aching, pain. Slowly scan your way through each part of the body, bringing softness as you move on to the next part. And taking your time to get there, once you've completed your full body scan, let's return to the breath. Continuing to find full, deep inhales, long, smooth exhales. Dropping the mind into the belly as we continue to breathe nice and deeply here. Using that breath to help us become present, to help us distract from any other thoughts from the day. Let's focus here for 5 more cycles of breath. Slow, steady, full, deep breaths. Taking your time to get there. When you get to the end of that 5th exhale, we're going to stay prone. If you want to switch the crossing of your arms, go ahead and do so. And we're going to come into Spider-Man pose. So Spider-Man pose is where we bring one knee up. So we're bringing one knee up to about hips height. And we can continue to stack our arms and rest our head. But what we're trying to do is to get the hip points or the hip flexors pointed down towards the ground. So this should be a gentle hip opening pose. I suggest that you keep your foot flex, that bent leg foot flex to protect your knee. And it's slow work, just like in pigeon pose, to try and square off the hips. So trying to turn whichever bent knee you have. I have my right knee, trying to get my right hip flexor pointed towards the ground. Taking one more cycle of breath on this side. And now slowly bring that bent leg back to meet the other leg. Make sure that you are nice and symmetrical here in this neutral pose. And then go ahead and take the other leg and crawl it up the mat. Coming into Spider-Man pose on the second side again, making sure that the foot stays flexed, bringing that leg up to whatever degree feels comfortable, and then slowly using the breath to bring the hip points down to the mat. Taking one more cycle of breath on this side. At the end of that exhale, go ahead and return both feet down the mat. Now, with both feet down, we'll bend the knees and we'll windshield wiper those legs back and forth. Good, and when you're ready, go ahead, take your hands under your shoulders, press into your mat, coming into tabletop pose for a moment, and then swinging those legs around, coming to a seated pose. I'm going to come to the edge of my block. If you would like to do the same to give those hips a little bit more time to wake up, you can, or you can just come to a seated position. From here, we'll go ahead and find that block and come back into cow face arms, which we practiced one of the last classes. And so what we'll do, let's open up the right shoulder first. So we'll take the right arm, we'll crawl that hand up the back, and then we'll take our strap, our strap, our belt, or our towel in the left hand, and we'll go ahead, swing it back, try and find that connection. Walk the hands as close as they will get to one another, still leaving some mobility in that right shoulder though. And sitting up nice and tall, making sure that the shoulders stay stacked over the hips. We'll find a couple of long, deep breaths here, just beginning to slowly open our shoulders. All these poses are preparing our body for our warrior sequence. So today we'll go through all three of the warrior poses, warrior 1, 2, and 3. We'll try a couple of variations in those poses. And I'm going to give some very detailed cues for us to make sure that we are settling into those poses with our best alignment. So I think it is nice and necessary to sometimes break down some of our most often used poses because each time we hear these cues, different elements of it will stick with us, and it'll help us bring us into better alignment, which will therefore help our breath and our entire yoga practice by picking, maybe one or two cues that are new for you in these commonly used poses. Make sure that you're breathing nice and deeply here as we open our right shoulder for one more cycle of breath. Good, and then gently release. We'll shake it out. Find some movement into that arm, into that shoulder. All right, and now we'll come to the second side. So we'll take the left arm and we'll crawl it up the back. We'll take the right arm with our strap or without. I'm a righty, so this left shoulder is way more accessible than my right shoulder. I can connect my fingers on this side, and with my right side, there's probably at least 6 inches in between my two hands using that strap. So finding some movement here in that left arm, that left shoulder. Make sure that we're not pulling the heart forward. We're keeping everything in nice alignment and just giving ourselves some time to marinate in this pose so that we can open up that left shoulder. Big deep breaths. Take one more big cycle of breath on this left side. Good, and gently release. Shake it out. All right, once the shoulders are feeling okay, we can move our strap off of our block or off of our mat. We'll drop our arms down by our side and we'll do some shoulder drops. So inhale, draw the shoulders up towards the ears. And with an exhale, let them drop. Inhale, draw the shoulders nice and slowly for your entire inhale up to the ears. And drop. Do 2 more times. Good. Now from here, let's take our right hand. We'll walk it out to the side and take our left arm up and over and find a side body opening. So walking the hand out, maybe bringing the forearm down. Make sure that the left sit bone stays rooted. Flipping that left hand to face behind you and bringing full deep breath into that left side of our body. Opening up those intercostal muscles, preparing the body for thinking about warrior one with our arms up overhead. Getting this nice stretch here to prepare the body and warm the body for those poses. For warrior three, when we're balancing on one leg and the other arm is either on our hip or up above us, giving ourselves some time to create that space. Good. Find one more deep breath into that left side. Full inhale. Steady exhale. Using the right hand, push into the mat, and we'll transition to the second side. Left hand comes down. Right arm comes up and over. Big side body stretch for the right side body. Really, really ground, anchor that right hip down as you reach out through those right fingertips. Use that breath to get into the body, get into the pose. Take one more cycle of breath on this side. Inhale, back up to center, hands meet at the top. And exhale, hands down the body. Let's connect our breath and movement again. Inhale, drawing everything out and up. Let the gaze follow those hands. Exhale, hands move down nice and slowly, that midline till they rest at the heart. And one more time, inhale, drawing out and up. Exhale, hands down in front of the heart. Good. Let's pause here for a moment. So go ahead and take this mudra. Our hands pressed together. Bring the thumb to the sternum and the sternum back into the thumb. Rest the shoulder blades down the back. Slowly close the eyes or soften the gaze. Feel nice and tall, a long spine. Take a moment here to set your own intention for class. My intention for this sequence is to channel our inner warriors, to get more connected to where these poses come from and how they should feel in our bodies. But take a moment for yourself. Why did you come to your mat today? Why did you kind of create some time and space for yourself on your mat and set an intention for what you'd like for this class? When you're ready, slowly begin to flutter those eyes open. Good. And we'll release our mudra. And we're going to come down onto our backs. Make sure that your strap is within arm's reach once you get down to your back. And when you get there, draw your knees into your chest. We'll gently rock from side to side here. So a lot of our warrior poses call on strength and power from our legs. So we'll continue to warm up the body to prepare for those poses. So from here, we're going to hold on to the right leg and we'll extend the left leg long, pressing the back of the left leg into the mat, keeping the left toes flexed. And now we'll grab for our strap. This time we'll hook the strap around the sole of the foot. And then we'll extend that right foot up nice and tall here, stretching out the back of our hamstring. So using the use of our prop here just brings a little bit of a different stretch, a little bit of different effort and work as we stretch out our hamstrings. So here we can be a little bit less focused on making sure the shoulder blades aren't coming off of the mat, because if they are, then we'll just slide our hands down our strap. So making sure that the back stays pressed into the mat, that those left toes stay flexed up toward the sky. Slowly with your breath, encourage that right leg to draw closer towards the heart, keeping a micro bend in the knee so we're not overextending or overstretching. And then bringing that breath into the pockets in the back of that right leg that feel tight. Take one more cycle of breath. And then if you can, grab for whatever you're using on that right leg with one hand, with the right hand. And then I like to take my left hand and place it onto my left hip flexor because we're going to open up this right leg. So opening that leg to the right, opening through the groin, the hips. If that leg falls down on the floor, that right leg, then allow it to rest there. But make sure that the left leg stays in pretty strong alignment with the rest of the body. Take one more cycle of breath. Using the core, draw that right leg back through center. And now we're going to switch. We're going to hold on to the prop with our left hand. Extend your right arm out. And now again, trying to keep that left leg in a nice, strong, straight alignment. We're going to draw this right leg across the midline, across the body, keeping that leg straight. There's a little bend in the knee, but keeping, for the most part, that leg straight as we try and target our IT band on the outside of that right leg. Big, deep breaths here. Keep those shoulders anchored into the ground. Breathe into the places of discomfort. Last deep breath. And we'll go ahead and come back through center. Good. Now before we move to the left side, we'll grab for the outside of that right foot, or maybe we'll grab the shin, and we'll come into a half happy baby. So drawing the right knee down towards the ground, left ankle above that right knee. Just slowly trying to open up our hips. Taking one more deep breath. Good, and gently release. Send that right leg down to meet left. Wiggle out to get into good alignment here, a nice straight line, and then draw that left knee in towards the chest for a moment. You're set up so that the right leg is pressing into the mat. Those right toes are pressing up to the sky. Our upper body is relaxed, no tension in the neck, no tension in the face. And then we'll go ahead and grab for our strap, hook it onto the bottom of the left foot. And now this time we send the left foot up, little bend in that left knee. Slowly with each breath, trying to draw that left leg a little closer to the body, to the upper body, and sending breath into the back of that left leg. All those pockets of tension, of discomfort, lots of stretching. When we bring ourselves particularly into the supine position, it's a great opportunity to really focus on stretching certain muscle groups because the rest of the body is supported by the earth. So when we come to standing positions and we're stretching, our foundation is a lot smaller. It's just the soles of our feet. And so we have to work on strength and balance also while we're stretching. When we come into these supine or prone positions, because so much of our body is supported, we can focus a lot more on targeting certain areas of our body. So right now, targeting the back of our left leg. Good. Take one more deep breath on this side. And then here's what we'll grab for the prop in our left hand. Taking the right hand onto our hip. Open up that left leg. Allow that leg to hover or to rest. Still trying to keep the hips down on the mat, those sit bones rooted if you can, and full deep breath. Taking one last deep breath. Good. Slowly draw that left leg back through center. Bring that prop into the right hand now and reaching over, extending that left arm out, finding still a little bend in that left leg, but stretching through that outer left hip all the way down the IT band. Full deep breath. One last cycle of breath. Good. Gently release, coming back through center, grabbing for the shin or the outside of that left foot, finding a half happy baby. Last deep breath. Gently bring both knees into the chest, rocking from side to side. Good. And from here, let's take our hands and let's tuck them underneath our butt. And then we're going to extend the legs up towards the sky and work on the core a little bit. So go ahead and feel that sacrum, the lower back, press into the mat. If you feel an arch, then bend your knees. You can bend your knees slightly. But I want to press the lower back into the mat to protect that lower back and target just the core. From here, with either legs straight or legs bent, we'll slowly begin to lower those legs down towards the mat. Ideally, the legs will hover above the mat, and then using the core, draw back through center. Slowly lowering. And then lifting. I like to lower with my inhale and lift with my exhale. How about 3 more? Good. After that third round, draw the knees into the chest. We'll gently sway from side to side. And then we'll find a couple of bicycles here. So let's keep the right knee drawn in. We'll extend the left leg. We'll place those hands behind our head just for support. And with the right knee in, we'll draw the left elbow to the right knee. Switching right elbow, left knee. Continuing to move with your breath. Slowly pumping through each side. Awakening the core. Bringing some fire into the belly. Moving nice and slowly, yogi bicycles with our breath. How about 2 more times on each side? Good. Release the head down, knees into the chest one last time, drawing circles with those knees. And then with the knees bent, we'll roll onto one side, pushing our way up into tabletop pose. All right, from tabletop, we'll take a nice big inhale. And with our exhale, rounding the tailbone down towards the heels, rounding the back, chin to the chest. On the inhale, lifting the tailbone, dropping the belly, crown of the head comes up. Exhale, rounding through cat. Inhale, lifting in cow. Now moving with the pace of your breath, making sure that you fill completely and empty completely as you ebb and flow through cat and cow. Go ahead and take 3 more cats and cows. Good. After that third cycle, walk your hands about a handprint forward if you can. Create a little bit of space here. And we'll take a nice big inhale coming into cow pose. Exhale, lower through chaturanga on our knees, hovering here. Inhale, pushing our way back. And exhale, child's pose. Inhale, coming to cow. Exhale, lower through chaturanga. Inhale, pushing our way back. Exhale, child's pose. Inhaling cow. Exhale, lower. Inhale, finding our way back. Exhale, child's pose. Now moving with the flow of your breath. Inhaling through cow. Exhaling, lower. Inhaling your way back. Exhale, child's pose. Move through 3 more times with your breath. When you get to that third time through, go ahead and settle in child's pose, taking a couple long, smooth, deep breaths in child's pose. Allowing that forehead to rest on the mat or a prop. Checking in with the pace of that breath, keeping it slow and steady as you can. Feel the breath in the back body, feel the breath in the side body. Taking one more cycle of breath. Go ahead and shift your weight into your hands. Tuck your toes under. And send your hips up high for downward dog. Walk your dog, sway your hips. Get the hips as high as they'll go. And when you're ready, bend your knees and travel up to the top of your mat where we'll meet in standing forward fold. Let everything dangle here, hanging nice and heavy from the head, the neck, the shoulders. When you're ready, place your hands on your shins and inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. One more time. Inhale, halfway lift. Hips above the heels, heart reaches forward. Exhale, fold. When you're ready, inhale, root through the soles of the feet and rise, arms reaching out and up. Exhale, hands down in front of your hearts. All right, moving together through our sun salutations to warm the body before we come into our warrior poses. So standing nice and tall at the top of your mat. Inhale, arms reaching out and up. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale to lift halfway. Exhale, fold, plant the hands, send the feet back through plank. Lower through chaturanga on your exhale. Inhale, lift in cobra. Then exhale, tuck the toes, send the hips up high. 2 deep breaths in down dog. At the end of that second exhale, bending the knees, traveling up to the top of your mat. When you get there, inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise, arms reaching out and up. Exhale, hands in front of the heart. Good, second time through. Inhale, drawing out and up. Moving meditation as you exhale, fold. Inhale, lifting halfway. Exhaling, fold, coming into plank. Lowering through chaturanga. Lifting and opening in cobra. Then tucking the toes, sending the hips up high. 2 deep breaths in downward dog. At the end of your second exhale, traveling up to the top of your mat. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise. Exhale, hands in front of your hearts. Good, move one more time with your breath. We'll meet at the top of our mat. All right, once you've gotten back from your third sun salutation, go ahead and make sure that you're standing at the top of your mat. And we're going to come through our warrior poses. Like I said, I'm going to break them down and give some detailed cues, so you will be holding the poses for a couple of cycles of breath. If at any time you need to come out of the pose and reset, of course, feel free to do so. So standing nice and tall at the top of your mat, let's begin by inhaling, drawing the arms out and up, and then exhaling, forward fold. From forward fold, make sure that those left toes are pointed straight, and we'll send the right leg back. So getting ready for warrior one pose. We want to make sure that we build the pose from the ground up, working on getting our foot and leg placement first. Orient your feet and then adjust your legs, and finally you'll align your hips. So when you're ready, inhale, we'll lift into warrior one. All right, a couple cues to think about. Place your hands on your hip bones to determine whether they are square to the front of your mat. Draw the hip of your front leg back and the opposite hip forward. Lengthen your tailbone towards the floor rather than dipping your pelvis forward. This allows for greater length in your lower back. Press back firmly with the top of your back thigh before bending your front knee. This helps to stabilize and root down through the outer edge of your back foot. Keep that stabilization as you bend the front knee. Keep your weight even across the 3 points of both feet, the center of your heel, the ball of your big toe, and the ball of your baby toe. This will help to keep your arches actively lifting. Feel that you're stretching the whole front side of your body by strengthening the thighs, ankles, and back. Feel the powerful standing pose that develops stamina, balance, and coordination. This pose tones the abdomen, ankles, and arches of the feet. This pose also stretches the chest and lungs, improving breathing capacity and invigorating the body. This pose can be therapeutic for your sciatica and encourages greater flexibility, strength, and range of motion in our feet, which will help increase circulation as it warms all of the muscles. This warrior one creates deep concentration, focusing on your foundation and building the pose from the ground up, reduces distractions and hones your energy. Your mind becomes focused, calm, and clear. And this pose is named after a mythological Hindu warrior who's known for being fierce and powerful, with 1,000 arms and hair and eyes of fire. Warrior one transforms the intensity of this deity into a pose that builds focus, power, and stability. So taking one more cycle of breath in this strong warrior one pose. As you exhale, fold forward, framing that front right foot. Let's send that front foot back to meet left in either downward dog or tabletop. Go ahead, find some movement here if you need movement. And then when you're ready, we'll lift that right foot and bring it to the top of the mat. Again, making sure that those front toes are facing forward. We'll bring the back toes to face a 45-degree angle, making sure that we have our foot and leg placement first, orienting our feet, then adjusting our legs, and finally aligning our hips, and then lifting into warrior one. So thinking about all those alignment cues, trying to realign warrior one, aligning our hips to face forward. Remember, if those hips don't have enough space, we can separate the space between our feet. So bringing those legs out towards one another, lifting up tall through the arms, energy up through the fingertips. We'll just take a couple long, deep breaths here in warrior one. At the end of your next exhale, slowly begin to lower. Again, framing that front right foot. We'll send the right foot back to meet left in either tabletop or downward dog, finding some movement there. All right, let's come into warrior two. So we'll send the left foot forward to begin. Again, setting up the feet. Now this warrior two, our hips are not facing forward, they're coming out to an angle. So with our left foot forward, the hips are going to point towards whatever's in the right corner of your mat or your room. And when you're ready, we'll inhale, lift. Again, warrior two, our arms are out on either side of us, coming straight up from the shoulders rather than pointing up towards the sky. a good bend in that front right knee, lots of strength and balance between the left foot and right foot. Here in Warrior 2, make sure that you lift up through the arches of your feet while rooting down through your ankles. Raise your arms to the side at shoulder height so they're parallel to the floor. Your arms should be aligned directly over your legs with your palms facing down, reaching actively from fingertip to fingertip. Broaden across your collarbones and lengthen the space between your shoulder blades, engaging your triceps. Drop your shoulders and lift your chest. A powerful stretch here for the legs, groins, and chest. Warrior 2 also increases stamina. It helps to relieve backaches and stimulates healthy digestion. This is a deep hip opening pose that strengthens the muscles in the thighs and the butt. It tones the abdomen, ankles, and arches of the feet. This pose also opens the chest and shoulders, improving breathing capacity and increasing circulation throughout the body. It's also known to be therapeutic for flat feet, sciatica, infertility, and osteoporosis. Warrior 2 is named after a warrior that was tall, dark, and fierce, decepted with 1,000 arms, flaming hair and eyes, and wearing a garland of skulls. So we'll think of that warrior in one last breath on this side of Warrior 2. We'll cartwheel the hands down to frame that front left foot. We'll send the left foot back to meet right. Let's come into downward dog pose this time. And then we'll lift that right foot and send the right foot forward on our mat, setting up our foundation once again. And when you're ready, inhale, lift. Warrior 2 now on the second side. So we're looking out over that right middle finger. Again, thinking about those detailed cues, finding ourselves into our best alignment. And here we'll take 5 slow, steady cycles of breath. After that 5th exhale, go ahead and draw the hands down, framing that front right foot. Once again, right foot will come back to meet left. Downward dog. Couple deep breaths here. Good. After that 3rd exhale, slowly come down to your knees. And I want to show you Warrior 3 before I give you all of the cues for Warrior 3. So Warrior 3 is that balancing pose that we practiced before. Because it's a trickier balancing pose, it may be best done at the wall if that feels a little bit better, a little bit more stable for you. I'm going to show you on my mat, but again, you can either bring your back to the wall or you can bring your hands to the wall in Warrior 3. So what we're going to do with Warrior 3 is I'll probably start from just a standing forward fold. And I'm going to plant my left leg first. So my block is going to be about a couple inches above and to the outside of that left foot. Now, Warrior 3 is similar to half moon pose. However, the difference here is that our hips are to stay square. So right where they are right now, they should pretty much stay in this position in Warrior 3. In half moon pose, which we practice, we stack the hips. This is different. This is Warrior 3. The hips remain neutral. All right. So from Warrior 3, we're going to gaze down at the floor a few feet in front of our body and make sure that we don't hyperextend the knee of our standing leg or our extended leg. And we're going to rise that back right leg up. Try and keep our neck relaxed here, not stiff or compressed, reaching forward through the crown of our head, keeping our spine in one straight line, strongly engaging our leg muscles, relaxing the toes of our standing foot. All right, so this is more or less where we would want to be for Warrior 3. So go ahead and come up to a standing position. Again, you can come to a standing position at the wall and find this pose as well if that feels a little bit more steady for you. And then we'll root through the left foot and we'll go ahead and begin to lift that right leg. Finding a drishti, finding something that isn't moving to go ahead and lift through that right leg here. Warrior 3 strengthens our whole backside of our body, including our shoulders, hamstrings, calves, ankles, and back. It also tones and strengthens our abs and improves our balance, posture, and full body coordination. Take one more deep breath here and slowly lower. Bring that right foot down to meet left. Maybe shift the block over slightly, and let's try our second side. Slowly lifting. Again, this left foot can just hover or it can begin to lift a little bit higher. Ideally, we want that left leg to come straight out from the hip. This is a stretch from our body, from our fingertips all the way through our lifted heel. It's an intermediate balancing pose, and this dynamic standing posture creates stability throughout our entire body by integrating all the muscles throughout our core, arms, and legs. Good. Find one more deep breath here in Warrior 3. And exhale, release. Very good. Let's go ahead, separate those feet about the width of your mat. And find a forward fold here. A gentle stretch for those hamstrings that might have been stretched pretty far in Warrior 3. Good. And then let's come on down to our backs on our mat. Once you get down to your back, go ahead and draw the knees in nice and close. Massage that lower back. Good. And from here, keeping the knees bent, bring the arms out like a T. Go ahead and drop those knees down to the right, finding a supine recline twist, looking out over those left fingertips. Slowly draw the legs back through center. And then drop over to the left. Somebody's singing Frozen in my house, sorry. Take one more deep breath. Come back through center. One last hug of the knees into the body. And then we'll extend our legs out straight. Let the feet fall open. Let the shoulder blades rest. Bring the arms out a little wider than you normally would. Settle into this final pose, releasing that long, steady breath. Allowing the breath to flow through the body naturally. Observing what pops up. Noticing any thoughts and allowing them to pass through as we do our best to keep a clear meditative mind of what's happening presently and restoring our energy from our practice. begin to deepen your breath. Begin to find movement in your fingers and in your toes. Roll in your wrists and in your ankles. Reach your arms overhead and find a full body stretch. And when you're ready, bend your knees and gently roll onto the right side of your body where you'll pause in the fetal position. Taking a moment here to absorb everything from your practice. Taking in how wonderful it feels to dedicate an hour of your day, of your week, to return back to your mat. When you're ready, go ahead and help yourself up to a comfortable seated position on your mat. And we'll meet with our arms in front of our hands in front of our hearts. The 16th, so a couple days ago, Jean celebrated her birthday. So let's take our positive energy that we created in today's class to Jean to wish her happy birthday. Sending out any other positive energy to anyone else who may be needing it at this time. Next week, our practice is going to be restorative. So it's seeking serenity. It'll be a slower pace class. And again, all these videos will stay up on our YouTube channel. So if you're not needing that stillness next week, then you can always come back to one of the other 7 classes and repeat one of those practices if that would better suit you. But for today's class, for our warrior sequence, it's with gratitude that I close this practice by saying namaste. And I wanted to bring Jack to say hi because everybody keeps asking how he's doing, and he's doing awesome. He's staying healthy. He just woke up, probably ready for a bottle soon. You say hi, Jack? Come here. Say hi, everybody. I miss you. Who's that? Can you say hi? Say hi. I got 2 teeth now, too. I'm a big boy. Right? Right. All right, guys. See you next week.